Hello, hello. Sheepdog back at you. I know I've been off here for a little while. Had a little work trip. Well, a kind of a big work trip. Drove some radar parts up to a place called Eureka, California, to the top of a mountain called Rainbow Ridge. Eureka, California is probably about 50 miles north of the Redwood Forest National Park. The town is surrounded by redwoods. It's a beautiful, beautiful area of the country. I wasn't too upset that I had to go up there. Turned out to be a fairly hard trip. Driving up a mountain pass in rain on dirt roads. Yeah, that'll make your butt cheeks clench up. But yeah, I made it. I'm back. Unfortunately, I was driving on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I got back here to El Reno, Oklahoma on Christmas Day. But hey, work has to get done, so they called me. I got it done. But if you've seen my shorts, I talked about this knife in one of my other videos not too long ago. Well, probably about 6 weeks ago. And when I got it, it was dirty. It was nasty. It was beat up. The black plastic covers on it were cracked and shrank and nastiness. But I put some mahogany on it. I put mahogany wood on it. Now this knife is it's Imperial, Providence, Rhode Island. So that ting stamp will make this knife between 93 and 97 years old. So for a knife that's as old as this, almost 100 years old, I think it works out pretty nice. There's pitting. There's pitting on the blades, but it's a full blade. It's full. That's a full spear point blade. The snap is there. Snap is there. So this is made by Imperial before they started putting the clamshell covers on their knives. So this is a solid knife. So spear blade, got a well, that would be a spade blade. Yeah, spade blade. But you can see where the pitting is where it sticks out. If it's underneath the handles, it's pretty nice. And it's got a punch hole. It's a solid knife. I'm pretty proud of this one. The first time I ever put covers on handles before. Most of the knives I work on are really just to clean up and polish. But I ended up having happened to have to go buy tools to get this done. You know, I thought I had enough to do, but now I had to end up buying some extra tools to get it done. But is that a real bad thing? If I ever have to do it again, well, I have the tools to do it. So it's not a bad thing. This one's staying with me. There's no trades. I'm not selling it. It's my first one, so this one has a little soft spot in my heart for this one. So I think this one will go in my pocket. Now, while I was out, well, here we'll do this one. This one, since it's Barlow week, you've seen this one. This one's been in another video. I only own 2 Barlows, so this is a Sabre Ireland. So this one was a little surprising to me because I didn't think Sabre made anything anywhere except for Japan. But this is Sabre Ireland. It's nothing fancy. Nothing fancy at all. It's the clamshell covers. I'm sure Sabre got Imperial to do these for them. Yeah, Imperial Ireland, that makes sense. But like I said, it's not anything fancy. It's a workhorse knife. I've thrown this in my pocket several times. It's all stainless steel, or carbon steel. So the steel liners, carbon steel blades, carbon steel, springs. But man, if you're out looking for used Barlows out on the road, especially here in Oklahoma for some reason, you just can't find them. I mean, if you go to an antique store or a flea market or something and you find a Barlow, you better grab it if you want it, because you may not see it again, another Barlow, for 6 or 8 months. I got this one probably about 8 months ago, and then recently I was at one of my favorite antique stores. Like I said, about 8 or 9 months ago, I found that one. I found this one like 2 weeks ago. So it's taken 9 months for me to find my second Barlow. This little guy is perfect. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that this has never been in our pocket. It's a clamshell, but the bolster, no dents, hardly any, some scuffing, but no deep scratches. And look at that blade. Look at that blade. If it's been in a pocket, it was not in a pocket for very long. And this is an Imperial. I'm gonna guess 1970s model, maybe early 80s. But look at that. That's about as perfect as you can get. It looks like somebody went into a hardware store, saw it on one of those little placards, pulled it off, threw it in their pocket, and took it home, and never used it again. I mean, it's as perfect as you can get. You know, brass liners. I think the only thing I'm going to do with this is give it a little bit of polish, and that's it. I mean, it's still got the original grinds on the edge. Look at that. You can see them. It's the original grinds. Little half stops on the blades, and snaps like crazy. I'm proud of this little guy. You know, I'm amazed at how nice this little knife is. Is it 60s, maybe 70s, possibly early 80s? But I don't know when Imperial went out of business. But is it's great. It's a little bit smaller than that one, but you know. Now, the next one, everybody knows what this is. This is a new old stock. Everybody knows. Schrade 34OT USA. This one's got a little bit of rust on it, surface rust. I don't think this was carried. I know for a fact that it's never been sharpened. I mean, it's still got the original grinds on the blades too. There's a little bit of rust on the inside, but like I said, that's surface rust. It's no pitting on the blades, but old timer Schrade USA 34OT. It's amazing what you'll find out in the wild sometimes. Is that I don't know when they stopped making this knife in the U.S., but you know, it's been a few years and it's almost perfect. Is that all I have to do is do a little bit of rub on the blades and oil it up, and it's good to go. Now this next one will definitely need to be worked on. This one is, I could never read the Tang stamps. There we go. Yeah. You probably know this brand as a chef's knife, but at one time they made pocket knives. This is a J.A. Hinkle, made in Germany. This one needs a little bit of work, a little bit of cleaning. I mean, but it's still in pretty good shape. It needs to be cleaned. You know, I haven't had time to do anything to this. It's still got crud inside. Let's see. It's still got crud in the. Look at it. Pocket lint. Lots of pocket lint. That's nasty. But there we go. The blades have been worn down a little bit. Not terrible. Not terrible. I mean, that was a sheep's foot. The tip broke off. It's been, ground down a little bit, but, who knows how old this is. It's probably 1950s. I'm going to guess 1950s. You got your spay blade, what was a sheep's foot blade, and a worn down little clip point. But I bought it for two reasons. It's this example of a knife that hasn't been made in a while. J.A. Hinkle hasn't made a pocket knife in decades. And it's Stag. I don't own another Stag knife. This is the first Stag knife I've owned. So this will be a knife that stays in my collection too, because it's a first. But, in German steel, the quality of J.A. Hinkle. They've been making knives for probably close to 100 years. But it's got, looks like steel liners. Steel liners, but good carbon steel. Now this spay blade, it needs to be, the whole knife needs to be clean, but that doesn't have any snap at all. This blade has snap. That one has a nice half stop, and that has really good snap. But it'll be fun cleaning this one up. What's weird about it is I think the Stag's been worn down faster than the pins. The pins are a little broad. The badge is broad. It sticks out. So I don't know if that was their design or what, but the might have to hammer those pins in a little bit, make them more flush. But there you go. This will clean up really, really nice. I think it'll be a pretty knife. How functional? It'll still be functional. But heck, but there's a good probably a half inch off the end of the clip point. See where it is. So this will be a fifth pocket knife. I won't take it out too often, but it's a good conversation piece for sure. So there we go. Those are my knives for this go around. Had to get in on at least the last day of the Barlow week. Well, anyway, there's this sheepdog. And remember, a dull knife is a dangerous knife. Keep your knife sharp. Have a good week. Bye-bye.